And what you want to do, if I turn it one way, hold it.
Oh, oh my.